echo.
Sound better?
Yeah, I think we've got a little, but it's by far. What we're going to do here, we're going to finish talk about boring and what Brian was talking about. Then we're going to go into your feature about uh, girl power. We're going to talk about girl power, okay? And then
Okay.
we're gonna say bye to you, okay? And we'll get rid of this
Yeah.
echo. That work for you, girl?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okie dokie.
I also can switch. I am on like my a Yeti microphone if I need to switch to like just
You're
my
on a Yeti, a blue Yeti, okay?
I think that could probably
yeah.
maybe that's adding a reason.
You can turn down your gain a little bit, and that might do it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
That's where the problem lies.
Is that better?
You're fine. We can go with this.
Yeah,
Are you
Okay.
going to Facebook and YouTube live?
yeah, we're streaming now. So,
We're streaming live. All right. Hey, folks, we're back with you at the podcast studio at the Toolbox. Yep, the Toolbox. We've got technical difficulties because we had no idea we had to do a Microsoft download. So if we're live again, we're going to set our timers and we're going to go and let our whiz bang editor do what he needs to do. And you said 30:46. We're going to set it on 30 even and we're going to push start. Folks, technology's great when it works.
You want to do 30 even?
Let's do 30 even and we'll go from there. And I'm starting. Tell me when. On cue. Go. Go. All right. All right. Welcome back, folks. Brian Morehouse here with S&N Infrastructure. And I got Chessa Tremble on the on the screen behind me here, a project manager for S&N Infrastructure. Sorry for the technical issues, but hey, we're back on live now and got Richton at the board, Richton Cunningham. Yeah, Richie Rich. And Brian was talking, you were talking about board machines and the idiosyncrasies around board machines and cutting through properties and what have you.
Yeah, a lot of people will come into their neighborhoods and they'll see these big machines sitting there and they're not really sure about the work taking place, even though many times we put door hangers out there, let them know what's going to take place. And the boring operations start, of course, there'll be potholing taking place, making sure that the drill head is coming through properly if we're doing any crossing of any other utilities. But a lot of times people end up saying, but nobody's been on my property. You know, nobody's doing any digging unless a pothole or something's being dug on their property. So it's just really interesting to educate people about the boring machines. And that's where Chessa comes into play. She oversees these operations. She makes sure that everything goes smoothly, safely, and in a timely manner. So with that, you know, we've just got a great operation going on with S&N Infrastructure. We talked a little earlier about communications. Funny you say that because we used to be known as S&N Communications.
Yeah, I know. When you first got on board here, that's what you were pegged as.
So as our company has grown, we do so much more than communications. I mean, we're in electric distribution, we're in fiber, we're in locating now, and that's a very big part of our makeup of S&N Infrastructure.
Right.
So we decided we need to rebrand. And that has been what we've been doing throughout 2025, going into 2026. We're now known as S&N Infrastructure. But communication will always be there because we want to make sure that we're always communicating with everyone in the right ways. You know, making sure that we're letting them know that we're on their property, letting them know what work is taking place, and also when the work will be completed. So communications, as you said earlier, plays a key role in everything we do.
Every aspect of every service job involves communication. It's the most important thing we do. And I've interviewed probably hundreds of people around this one very thing about communication. But let's talk about Chessa and her role as far as the female workers go. You got a program, I think.
Well,
tell us about it.
As we've got Tools in Schools, which we're sponsoring with you, and we also have Girl Power. That is the brainchild of Virginia, Maryland, Delaware Association of Electric Co-ops. their employees got together, put together this program, and it started off in Virginia and then went ahead and expanded into Maryland. So about last year, about a year and a half ago, we started talking with the association in Virginia, and we were really interested in bringing it to North Carolina. So we started off last March, I believe it was the 13th, in Caldwell, which is Hudson, North Carolina, at Caldwell Community College. And Chessa ended up coming down, helping us be able to put this program together with a lot of others on our staff, along with a lot of great sponsors, co-ops, and also the community college itself. But I want to really let everyone know how Chessa got involved with S&N Infrastructure, and that was she took part in Girl Power, not participating.
She wasn't with S&N Infrastructure at the time, but she participated in the event.
For a number of years, and
Yeah.
S&N Infrastructure happened to see her drive, her ability, and the way that she was very involved in wanting to help others and mentor them. And Chessa, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it from here.
Talk to us, girl.
Yeah. It's always been a big passion of mine. I think it started with working as an electrician, and several female clients that I would help out was saying, I could never do what you do. And when I found out that there was a program called Girl Power happening, right up the road from me, I thought it was just the perfect combination to bring the opportunity for girls to go out there and learn that they can do these things, and to see the vast number of opportunities there are in the side of infrastructure, regardless of if you want to become a lineman, operate heavy equipment, become a locator. The opportunities are kind of endless. But also to realize, like, you don't know anything, like you've said, about tools unless you get out there and you use them. And I think one of the coolest parts has been at the bucket truck when when we take girls up into the bucket truck. So many of them at first are terrified and don't want to do it, if it's a fear of heights, or just having that uncertainty of not really ever being around something like that. And seeing so many of those girls conquer their fear and then end up going up in the bucket truck and just ending up so excited, as well as so proud to like overcome such a scary thing, has probably been like one of my all-time favorite parts of the events. There's so many pieces that I could talk about that I love, but I just think,
Those are
it's like
aha
going
moments.
to,
Those are aha
it's, yeah,
moments, aren't they?
it
I mean,
is.
those
Because
really, those are the return on your investment moments, as corporate says. We must see our return on
yes,
our investment. Come out and look at the face when a young lady goes up in a bucket truck, and see her acclimate to that. That's worth its weight in gold.
Well, we just had an experience like
yes,
that because we carry Girl Power over to Nash Community College, which has a great lineman program over there too, as does Caldwell Community College. But one young lady that Chessa was helping get into the bucket, where you end up having to put on the harness and get up in the bucket, young lady ended up telling us she was probably 17 years old, and she was scared. And one of the things we told her was, you don't have to get in the bucket if you don't want to do that. And she goes, nope, I got to overcome my fear. So Chessa got her all set up, got her in the bucket. There was a guide in there. They took her up in the bucket. And the young girl went up there and got fully extended. And she started taking pictures. And she was really proud of herself. So when she came down, she got out of the bucket. And we were like, are you okay? And she goes, y'all just helped me overcome my fear. And I said, well, I'm really glad we were able to do that. She goes, I have been scared to death of heights, and I can't wait till this weekend. I'm going to ride the Ferris wheel at the county fair.
That's
So
awesome.
that brought a smile to all of our faces, and just being able to see that we were able to work with someone and help them overcome their fears, but also introduce the industry to them.
That's great. Chessa, and how did her getting to S&N come from that?
Well, I'd like to go ahead and explain it. She worked hard. She was a great volunteer there at the Girl Power in Palmyra, Virginia. And all of a sudden, we just noticed how she was doing with students. And a gentleman on our executive team saw her passion, saw her ability, and said, hey, this young lady may be pretty good to be able to work for S&N Infrastructure. So they approached her, found out a little bit more about her background. Being an electrician was a very big help, understanding the industry, and next thing you know, Chessa was part of the S&N Infrastructure family.
A little over a year ago, right?
Well, it's going to be a year here in a couple of days.
Yep. A year. Are you a happy girl?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Love it. That's what I love to hear come out of the mouth of anybody working in the trades. I love it. And I'm tickled to death. And thank you for coming in here today. Let me ask you this now. You think you've got a career pathway ahead of you? I mean, it's set?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Here you are, early 30s, married, a life ahead of you, but you've got a career pathway that's pretty much set in stone at this time, right?
Oh, yeah.
There you
definitely.
go.
And it's good to be able to see people get into the business and be able to have that passion and know that there is a career here and there's opportunity, and
right.
See a lot of that.
That's awesome. Chessa, I want to thank you for taking your time today to be on air. And I know we hit some technical difficulty along the way. Is there anything you want to share with our listeners out there as far as female employment and inspirational little tidbit here?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that it's all about mindset. Never give up. You will find the right arena with the right people that believe in you as strongly as you believe in yourself, and you can do anything that you set your mind to. And yeah, you just got to go out there and give it a try.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Brian, for bringing her on today. It's been inspirational, and I wish you nothing but great success and happiness. And I got to ask one other question. There's one thing.
Yeah.
We all want the same thing in life, Chessa. We all want the same thing. You know what that is? You got it. You found it. What is it?
I would say happiness is what
Bingo!
we all find in life.
And you hit the nail on the head, happiness. But you know what? In schools, we ask the students all the time, what's the most important thing we all want? What is it? And you know what they say, don't you?
Oh, I don't. I can't even
Money.
Imagine nowadays.
Money. Money.
Yeah.
And I give them a big emphatic no. That is not the main thing we want. Unfortunately, that's what we're taught in school, and that's what everybody follows. And the reality of it is, yes, we need to make money. And on that note, do you make a good paycheck, Chessa?
Yeah, I do fairly well.
You do? Okay. That's awesome. And you get good benefits.
Yes, yeah.
And a 401k and all that stuff, right?
Indeed.
So many opportunities there, and she's definitely shown it. There's a career path, even for the young ladies and the younger generation.
Has she driven a company truck yet?
She's got a company truck.
Oh, yeah.
See, well, we got to include the perks here. Come on. I mean, these are incentives, man. And you driving a company truck around?
On top of it and everything.
Man, I thought I had died and gone to heaven when I was 20 years old. They put me in a company truck.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Lord, I got my own truck. It was an old International. And then about 2 months later, they put me in a new F-150.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy. I was a young rascal. I was a superintendent at 22.
That's really good.
Yeah, well, Chessa did it.
Yeah.
Project manager, early 30s. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Well, thanks again, Chessa. I appreciate you coming in today, and we're going to let you go. And come back to see us sometime, okay? And I hope to see you maybe at one of these Girl Power events.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Go make it a great day. I appreciate you.
You too.
All righty.
You're welcome.
And she's out. Brian Morehouse. All right, make your adjustments there, technical people. See, the echo went away, so it was on her end, but we learned something. There you go. Technology's a great thing once it works. Got Brian Morehouse in from S&N Infrastructure, one of the sponsors of Put Tools in Schools, and I appreciate that, him stepping up. We're going to focus a little bit on Put Tools in Schools, and then when top of the hour here, we got about 18 minutes to the top of the hour. We together on time there, Kevin? We are. That's good. I want to talk about Put Tools in Schools a little bit. You're new to that initiative. relatively speaking.
In my previous life, I might as well say, or my career, I was with Dominion Energy. And we used to go around the schools and talk to them about safety, what would happen if you were to get into a line. So that was basically what I had involved with the schools. But on this particular role, it's really introducing all the kids to different divisions that we have, like electric distribution, locating, fiber install, fiber splicing. Just so many things go into it that they could have different avenues to come into. And the thing is a lot of these companies will train you. You come on in. I mean, what's a better way to get experience?
You know, that's the purpose in me going back to this part of the conversation. You know, like take Chessa, for example. She showed up on a job, wasn't working with the company, played in the event, and she was noticed by her initiative and her attitude and her work ethic.
Right.
You know, all of that wrapped up, and says somebody came over and bumped somebody and says, hey, we need to check her out. You know, and the point is, you don't have to be certified. She didn't have to be, she had no credibility or credentials other than her work ethic, her attitude, and her showing up that day to participate in an event. That got her noticed and got her a job. Yep. And it's that simple. So I've said it once, I'll say it again. All you have to do is show up with the right attitude, the right attire, looking like you mean something and want to work. And you'll be amazed at things that'll happen. And it doesn't have anything to do with your credentials, your certifications. And come to find out, you may be amazed at what a company will train you with those credentials in itself.
And, you know, the one thing that Chessa ended up having was she was a licensed electrician, of course, had her journeyman's, but she had an idea of what the business was all about. And being able to come in and go into the site supervisor or site superintendent role really was beneficial to us.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the reasons we wanted to have her on the show was to show all the young ladies out there that there are possibilities for you. I mean, a lot of times people feel like, as you said earlier, Ray, hey, won't you go into the medical field or won't you go into this and that? Maybe some young ladies out there would be very interested in getting into the trades and finding more about these trades by us talking about it. We talked a little earlier about my welding. And I got into welding at a really young age, ended up going to school for it. Do you know what my welding instructor was?
What?
A female.
Females make actually better welders than men.
Steady hand.
More detail.
She was a pipe welder, and of course I was only learning structural at that time with flux core and MIG and everything, but she taught me a lot. And I really appreciate that, but I took the time and effort to be able to listen to her. And it was a great trade. Really enjoyed it. Just ended up getting into the electric distribution area.
You speak of electrical distribution. You're speaking, you're just like Pike Electric or all the other bucket trucks.
So we're a contractor. We work for facility operators, Dominion Energy, your electrical companies out there. I mean, you've got the Duke Energies out there.
They're busy today, aren't they? They're busy today, aren't they?
They're very busy. I mean, of course, the infrastructure is being improved each and every day. New lines are being built, upgrades, reconducting, taking overhead and putting it underground in areas that have a high level of damage, because you got to do a lot of tree trimming with these power lines. Especially, that's what will end up taking out a lot of these lines during these storms and this cold weather that we're having. But if you take that overhead and put it underground, you're less capable of an outage. So a lot of the power companies, facility operators are seeing that need of taking these high-risk areas and taking the overhead power lines out and trying to put them underground.
Underground's a way, definitely, to prevent some infrastructure failures, such as ice storms and what have you.
Now I get to talk a little bit about our locating division, because now if everybody's going to take everything that was overhead and start putting it underground, well, there's only so much area to put all these utilities in. So you got to be really careful on how you're digging and how you're putting this in, but you got to make sure that you get those locates marked. So you put in a locate request with 811, and they will go ahead and send it out to all the facility operators who may end up having locators working for them as in like a contract, and they go out there and mark these utilities before any digging takes place.
There you go. Well, I got to speak of some of our sponsors here. Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Folks, a great company. And if you want to know what they have, just give them a call. But better yet, go online, Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Just Google them. You know, give them a call. They bring the showroom to you. They'll have a quick discussion, find out what you're about, what you're kind of looking for, what rooms you're doing, what is it you need. They'll help you out too. You might not be aware of all the products. The number one flooring in the Carolinas, though, is definitely hardwood, be it engineered, sanded, finished, whatever it might be. They can take care of you. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. They'll come to you. I know the name is Southeast Charlotte, but don't let that fool you. They'll come to Belmont, Cramerton, Gastonia. I said Belmont. Let me improvise a little bit and say Mooresville. They'll come to you. Lake Norman. Doesn't matter where you're at. Lake Park. Doesn't matter. They'll come bring the showroom to you. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. And don't forget Kilo, Kilo.biz, Kilo Exterminating Pest Control Company. Been around since 1952. Another one. I got two real old companies sponsoring the show. That's Queen City Home Store and Kilo Exterminating. 1952. Kilo's been in business servicing homeowners for any pest control needs. Give them a shout. Just look them up online, Kilo.biz. And today, let's talk about Owens Chimney Systems. Owens Chimney Systems, your complete hearth store, hearth service, fireplace, chimney liners, chimney problems, gas, fire logs, whatever, new ones, Owens, getting them serviced. And that's something you should have serviced every year. That's OwensChimneySystems.com. Check them out online. Chimney caps. They've got a custom chimney cap department that will that will service any chimney you got on your property, I promise. Fabrication from scratch to finished product. That's OwensChimneySystems.com. And I got Brian Morehouse in the house today with me talking about, well, infrastructure. So, and there again, S&N Infrastructure has supported with a donation to put tools in schools. We need that support. We'll support you if you support us. We'll scratch each other's back. Point is, they need help.
Yes, we're a growing business. I mean, we've been growing for the last 4 to 5 years. Of course, along with the fiber build that's come into the area and all the rural areas since COVID, a lot of need for fiber to the rural homes.
Fiber optic cables, internet. That's exactly what we're talking about here. That is, would you say everything's moving to fiber optics?
I see everything moving towards that, yes.
So we won't have any more of this coax cable crap.
Well, I think you're still going to have it out there. Fiber will be the newest and updated technology that there is for right now. And, there's so many different types of infrastructure out there. As we talked earlier during the break, our power company ended up here in the area along with the co-ops, Duke Energy and all the electrical co-ops across North Carolina, geared up for a bad snowstorm. Luckily, it didn't come through. Ice was a little bad in some areas, but it's getting all these people together and being able to get the work done. But there's so many things. I mean, you could be a lineman in the power, electric distribution area or transmission, and then you can be a lineman also with the internet service. So and that's for overhead and underground technology.
Let me tell you what happened here with my fiber optic. Something that blew kind of, we say technology is a great thing when it works. Well, that's so true. Well, we did a sample or a test broadcast one day here at the studio, and our internet went away. It just literally stopped and went away. So I called our buddy AT&T, which my service is with. He came in here 30 seconds. He unplugged it from the white box and plugged it back in and heard a click, and he said, that was your problem.
Really?
He said it didn't click. So I waited over 24 hours with no internet. Like I say, when you're in business and you need that infrastructure possibility called internet and you're without it, well, who do you call? Your internet provider. But that simple click of a plug-in, the cord going into that was all it took.
Well, we talked about what happened this weekend with, of course, the weather and everything else. And as we were all preparing, making sure that we got food, I was worried about losing power.
Yeah.
Make sure the generator was working and, you know, everything was good, the gas logs. And I remember my wife coming in the living room and says, okay, you got everything together. What happens if we lose internet? We'll have
crazy.
the crossword puzzle?
We go crazy. We go crazy together. You know, are the kids home? You got any kids?
Yes.
Say the kids are here, we'll be crazy. You know, that's it. Folks, you have no idea, and I know you're hearing a lot of this lately, but we're losing our kids. And not yours, Brian. I'm not picking on you, but I'm saying if we don't do something about the screens, and there's a new problem on deck, and we've talked about it, we've hit on it, we've hit around it, and everything that's called AI, artificial intelligence. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this next hour and how it is definitely affecting our children's outlook on the future and their learning in school. AI is scary, scary stuff. If you don't believe that, you're not really giving it much thought. Because right now, when kids tell teachers, why do I need to read when AI can read it for me? This is happening, tremendous happening in vast numbers, folks. We got an issue. And now, you think stupid was the problem. I know people hate it when I say that, but it's the truth. I mean, we've been in schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen the ignorance, I'll be nice and use the correct word, around the trades. Ignorance. Well, ignorance is not knowing, period. Stupidity is knowing and not using. That's stupidity, wouldn't you say? Better?
Not being informed. And I think that a lot of things that we're seeing within the trades is people haven't seen it introduced to them. And they don't have a question about it. I remember when I was young, my dad asked me one time, he said, do you know anything about your car? I was 16. I was just worried about driving. I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know, you got to change the oil. You got to do this. You got to do that. But do you ever think about what makes that motor turn and get you from point A to B? Really drew my interest, and that made me get really interested in my vehicles and being able to take care of them. That's something that I've always tried passing along to kids, family members, anybody like that. Understand what you're dealing with. And during a conversation me and you had earlier is technology. We had some technology issues, and we want to know everything that there is so we can be able to correct the problems.
Right.
And I think that's where we can be able to come into play with putting tools in schools is introducing it to them. I saw some people over there with you about right before Christmas, and they were learning how to do the drill. And you had a lot of kids over there. They probably never ran a drill before.
Never have. And what's interesting is they come over, they're attracted by the tools themselves. The fact that they see this table with some tools on it, they come over, well, what are you here for?
Yeah.
You know, and real quick time check here. I got 3:45.
3:15.
Okay, we'll go with your number? Okay, keep me posted. Folks, we got a little technical issue. We got to make the clock work, and that's what we're doing here. But back to the tools on the table. What's amazing, and then I'll start asking them questions about what is this tool?
Mm-hmm.
What is this tool? And then I'll say, pull the trigger. And they pull the trigger, and they get scared of it.
Yeah.
Because the vibes, you know, and they don't know any better. They've never had one. They don't know what it's like. But what's amazing is when they do it, use the tool, it excites them. It empowers them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. I mean, Chessa alluded to it. The empowering feature of working and providing a service and purpose with your hands and your mind. That's powerful stuff. Now, as I say that, a lot of people can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
But when you welded your first bead,
I stuck a lot.
oh, sure you did. Sure you did. When you strike, you get started, you stick it, and you have to wiggle it up, and that's the way it is.
Well, it just takes time to be able to learn it.
Yep. But welding is fun. But the first time you ran that pretty bead,
Oh, that was a joy.
that was a pride and joy. I remember in high school when I ran my first one and got better at it, and then you get better at it, and then you get better at it, and before too long, you're a heck of a welder.
It just takes time. You end up doing it over and over, and don't give up. And just have patience, and it will come to you. I love welding. I think there's nothing like it, but there's nothing like being able to put down a pretty bead.
But you just said it. You love to weld,
Mhm.
but you don't weld.
No,
Not for a living, but you
Not
can.
for a living.
But you can.
yes,
And do you have a welder?
yes.
See, most welders will have a welder, because once you learn the craft, the welder we got back here in the toolbox, which we're going to talk about the toolbox, because that is your first visit to us today. That welder was bought by a friend of mine, the best friend. I told you my next door neighbor built race cars.
Right.
He bought that welder a little Lincoln Buzz box, a little red box. You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Everybody's got one that got into welding. He bought that when he was 15 years old, as a result of me taking him into the shop and teaching him how to weld.
Wow.
And today,
Still
he's
has-
60. He's 2 years younger than I am, which he would be 72. He can fix and weld anything, and he worked for NASCAR for his whole career
Really.
as a fabricator. So, folks, it really is. We're gonna bug out of here. Our time's up, so we got to buzz out. We'll be back next hour with more about your house. PutToolsInSchools.org. We'll be back. We off?